The MSR is an awesome ship for most because it looks like the Millennium Falcon, but I wanted to explore and see if it's awesome for any other reasons, particularly in a combat sense. So I ended up trying to do some battles with it as a solo pilot, in free flight and squadron battle, and also with a gunner, both in free flight and in squadron battle. So as you can see, we're starting here with a squadron battle. I joined lobby, and we're actually a little bit ahead to start here, which is pretty cool. And you can see I'm actually trying to engage some gladiuses here and everything. One of the ways I'm able to engage those gladiuses is really two aspects. First off, I have this 50-degree cone. I set myself to 25 V-Joy, so I have this 50-degree cone of fire. I can shoot all in this cone here in order to actually attack this person, all the way down here, actually. So even though the light fighter can be very evasive, it's very difficult for them to escape my aim because this ship uniquely has not uniquely, but unlike many ships, it doesn't just have normal gimbals. It actually has a turret that the pilot controls. So they can actually track the opponent. I think they balance this a little bit because they make the turrets that you have be only 2 size 3 weapons, which is less than even a piloted Gladius has. But there's one other tool that this has that a lot of other ships don't have, and that's its speed. Its speed is very impressive because even if opponents try to push away from you, you can push into them because its G's that it's able to pull, its G's over here, it has 2 times the speeds of acceleration of a constellation already in Asgard, meaning that you can actually chase down Gladiuses. You might not believe me on this, but I'll go into it a little bit deeper here. I believe the Gladius has an SEM speed about 420 boosted. The MSR has one about like 510, and the Talon is about 10 underneath that. Whatever the MSR's is, it's that minus 10. And you might be like, oh, well, the MSR is still slower than Gladius, so I can just out-extend you and win. But you would forget that the MSR also actually has 6 seconds of extra boost than the Gladius. That's 6 seconds of additional max speed that the Gladius might actually end up not hugging speed wall with, meaning that you have a degree, an aspect that you can use to control fights and dictate where the light fighter is attacking you from. Now, the Asgard, it has a bubble shield. Its bubble shield is 1 circular shield. But when you're using the MSR, you have 4 shield faces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they all independently lose HP and regenerate shields from one another. So by using my speed and acceleration to control which side of the fighter is attacking me, I'm able to do something to defend myself that you can't do with Asgard, and that's choose what direction the opponent's going to face me on. So this guy here, he's pushing me. He really shouldn't be pushing me, and he gets exploded because he doesn't respect the MSR speed and thinks that he can get a position on it. It isn't an Asgard. You can't just push it in a linear fashion. Asgard might be able to VTOL you and keep you away through its strafes. MSR can do just through its top speed and using decouple. So you'll see this in a couple other fights, but I'll try to point out next time I go through, but I actually use decouple to blow through a lot of these opponents in order to dictate where they're going to attack me. You might see there I had missiles come up. Make sure to always increase your flare count when you're battling people. But you can see this guy over here, I'm able to use all this boost. I have so much boost still that I'm able to use this boost to push towards individuals to force them into nav mode. You can tell he's in nav mode. I'm shooting a missile to try to get him out of nav mode because his shields are down. But these individuals are oftentimes, I'm able to get to them. I'm able to get to these individuals because even though they're trying to get away, I have such high speed. I have such high boost. I have such high durability. I can just eat shots that I can come in there to where my allies need help and actually help them. Think about like episode 5 of Star Wars, episode 4 of Star Wars, New Hope, where you have the Millennium Falcon come in and swoop in to save the day for Luke. Even though the Millennium Falcon, it has good firepower on it, but MSR, it also has good firepower on it, but it's not like an Asgard's firepower. It's not like this thing is armed to the teeth with an insane amount of weapons. The big thing, though, is that it can tactically be put into where it needs in the strategic battlefield to help your friends where they need it. Because a lot of times light fighters, they're moving super fast. But see this Aurora right here? It's moving super fast also, but it can't quite stick on me because I'm able to push high speeds to wear out of boost. And once it's out of boost, I just sort of try to keep this delta as close to 0 as I can. And then because it decides to keep pushing me, I'm able to actually end up popping it. Now, a good pilot would be like, okay, I got to respect this. I got to pull off. I'm not going to kill it. But if they're going to do that, they're not going to be able to beat me either. So it kind of becomes a stalemate. So the really interesting thing is this ship, even though it has less weapons than the Asgard, it's able to put those weapons on the battlefield where it matters. And a lot of times the most important weapon isn't the best weapon. It's the weapon that you have in your hands. And this is the weapon that you can put on the battlefield where you want it, and it's very, very durable. So here you can see a Buccaneer's chasing me. I'm able to get a large chunk of damage on him. So you think this thing has the speed to maybe evade all my firepower and everything. And you can see he's doing a good job rotating me here. I try to go into a rotation fight, and the reason I do that is to try to accelerate the fight. I want to test and see if they can rotate, because if they can't rotate, that means I can probably kill them pretty fast because they're maybe not as a skilled battle. And I want to go help my other allies who might be fighting more skilled pilots. But here you see I pass him, and I take a few more shots. And on this next pass, my front shield's very low. He's getting shots on me. And as soon as it goes down here, it probably is going to go down here. We'll see. Let's see. Shield's going to go down. As soon as it goes down, I pull off to this side. And the reason I do that is this can regen while this shield takes damage. This shield's taking damage in the rear, but my front shield is actually regenning here. So if you wait about 5 to 10 seconds, it starts regenning HP. And because this ship is so fast, even though he's in a Buccaneer, he can't get to the other side of me to shoot that front shield. He can maybe get the sides, but he can't get that rear one, and he ends up pulling off because he sees that's a fruitless endeavor. Now I have another guy, he's a Hornet, who's coming in and fighting me, and this is the great part. I'm regenning HP, I'm getting tons of people attacking me. I'm like episode 5 Millennium Falcon, where I got all those TIE fighters chasing me, and it's just like, I have plot armor, I can't die. So if I can pull off 3 or 4 opponents off the enemy team, that should make my team have a relative man advantage, because if I'm taking 3 to 4 guys to attack me, to actually kill me, then that means the rest of my allies, they have more freedom to XV1 the opponents. And the thing is this is oftentimes easy. You can say this about a lot of other ships, but the problem with other ships like the Asgard is, like, I'm helping the Starlancer right here. If I'm in an Asgard, I may not have the speed to go peel for him, to go help him, because a lot of times fights are just happening too far away. You're not able to get there fast enough. But the Asgard, it can oftentimes get there to help your allies to peel in a way that the Asgard, that the Corsair, that the Constellation can't. Which makes it this really annoying thing, like the Millennium Falcon, where it's there when you need it in the trench run, and it's there to get away from the 20,000 TIE fighters chasing it in the asteroid belts. Makes it a very, very difficult ship to lock down this patch. And you might be like, okay, all right, Alkaline, why is this only coming out now? What's changed, or is the community always been able to do this? And the answer is no. This is relatively a shift in the meta, because of 4.21, a couple things happened. 4.21 made it so the MSR had twice the Gs comparatively to the Constellation and to the Asgard in the forward direction. Additionally, it increased its top speed, and it made its top speed relatively larger than most, a little bit faster, or almost on par with most light fighters that aren't Interceptor tuned. What that means is it can keep up with trying to run away from some of the best fighters in the game, like the Gladius. And what that effectively shows is, like, if you see this scoreboard right here, it means that even in this lobby where we got pretty stomped, 4,000 to 6,000, in a lobby that we were winning, so basically the other team left, and then they came in with a whole bunch of really, really good players, our team had lots and lots of deaths. So our team was offensively very, very good. And I was able to actually still do something. I was able to get 4 kills and 2 assists to help my team, and I was able to do it without dying at all. If I was playing in a Corsair, or if I was playing in a Asgard, I likely would have died a couple of times there. I may have actually helped my team score-wise and actually made it much closer for us to win. I may have even helped our team actually win this battle, but I likely would have died a whole bunch, which, if I was in the PU, I probably don't want to die, especially if I have any cargo in the back of my ship. So this is something that the MSR can play. It can play in a playstyle that other ships can't. Asgard and the Corsair are probably going to, if they take a 1vx, they're committed, and they're going to take down as many people as they can with them. The MSR, it's more like the Han Solo smuggler, get in, get out. It can take the XV1, but it can also get out of the XV1. It may not take anyone down with it because it has less firepower, but it can actually, like, compete, which is really, really cool. It feels like it feels like the Millennium Falcon, and I've never flown this ship and had it feel like the Millennium Falcon in combat versus players until 4.21, which is such a cool thing to me. So let me go ahead and pull up another clip here. Let's see if I have one. Here we go. This one is one of me 1v1ing a really good fighter. Is a fighter I think he's a newer fighter from AVS, and so he has good training. He's a good player. And here you can see that I'm trying to just simply use counter strikes kind of like an Asgard to get nose on him, and I can't. But eventually here, I'm able to push a little bit forward, decouple my engines, and then just turn on the axes and then be able to start shooting him to try to get myself in a position where I can start firing on him. Now, this is a really annoying combat encounter to fight because, like I showed you before, he can really only shoot one shield face at a time. So he's shooting this front shield face, but if he ever gets it low, I can just turn around and start firing him. So eventually, this is a really long combat encounter, and this is just the last 90 seconds. But eventually, I don't think he wants to go on and fight me for another 5 minutes and doing these hit and runs. So he eventually sort of commits to me thinking, let's just end it. Either you win or I win. Which in this case, he doesn't have to. He could get away and regen shields and refight again, but he does go for the commit. But this is a really interesting thing because the MSR can potentially create a stalemate that it hasn't before. So here again, I get the speed up, I push him, and I'm able to use this 50-degree cone to track where his hip is, even through the wiggles, and get shots on him. And you see he's red nose, and I'm able to get him. And it was a close fight. You saw I was actually red nose there on the end. But and this may be a novelty. I haven't done hundreds of fights with this like I have with the Guardian. There may be counterplay with it, but this does show that there's skills in which you can develop with the MSR if you really love it in the PU to make yourself more defensive and more resilient to attacks from skilled players. So let's go through another one here. So this fight here is another solo fight, I believe. You can tell I don't have a gunner because there's not a line coming off here off the top. And this guy is a guy. He's a pilot from FFK. He's a really good pilot. He's been getting really good. And you can see he's shooting my rear shield and stuff. But eventually I push the speed wall as much as I sort of can, and I'm getting shots on the front side. And he tries to get around me here. And I'll show you what I end up eventually doing here, which is even a little bit unique and a little scammy and a little cheesy, but feels like something Han Solo would do. Or if you're more like me, something maybe Lando Calrissian would do. I guess I'm a little more of a Lando fan. So this person is going to try to get in the slot, and they're going to try to get really close to you. And something that you can do is you can just hit the gas and then cause them to pretty much get hockey checked by you. And you have a ton of mass here as an MSR that a lot of people, once they're fighting this 50-degree cone, they'll want to try to play closer and closer and closer until they get a little too close and they get burnt. So this is something that you might see in the solo movie. It's like you got TIE fighters chasing you, and I see him coming in here, and I should step on the gas here to try to greatly change my velocity here to something he's maybe not expecting. So here, I think I probably put an upstrift, and there. I just go full in, and I'm able to get him to just sort of hit my nose. Now, that's something he could avoid, right? But it's something that the MSR can do now more so than other patches because I believe it has 10 Gs in the forward direction, which no other gunboat in the game or size 3 ship in the game has double-digit Gs when boosted. It's something that you can really only do in the ship at the moment. So let me pull up another one here. Let's see. Yep, here we go. Awesome. So this was in a lobby with guys with FFK, and I told them this ship was a scam. Prior to, I was like, this is the Han Solo Lando Calrissian scam. You do not have to fight me. They were awesome. Again, FFK's amazing community. They decided that they'd be willing to fight me anyways. So this is a pilot who's oftentimes can give me troubles. He does a really good job at flying at farther ranges, and he just hits me in the wing. Let's go on to the next video. You're like, this doesn't happen all that much. This doesn't happen all that much, Alkaline. What if I told you that this is the fight that happened either right before or right after that fight? It was one of those two. I don't remember which one it is. But this is an Ardor fight versus a different player. And this guy, he wants to fight me. Me and him shoot a flare here. Yep, flare. Yep, we both flare, so you know this is like, he wants to beat me. He wants to beat me. And I am going to do the same thing to him again. Again, this is novelty, probably. But I did do it 3 times in a row as a hat trick versus very good ace pilots. It is, so it's something you can put in your repertoire of kits in self-defense if you're in the PU. You can probably do it even more so against pilots who aren't as good as these guys. So you can see here, again, I'm trying to just up strafe and down pitch to see if that's enough to fight him in the turn battle. Once it's not, I decouple and I move my speed to try to hit speed wall here. My goal is to basically get to speed wall and then start using my boost. And then once I get here, I'll decouple, I'll stop doing any of my strafes to make sure my linear direction is as far away from him as possible. And I'll flip around here and he'll get confused with how my speed is going and my direction is going. And then that will end up basically causing him to crash into me because he's not used to speeds on a gunboat of that side. Now this fight here, this is versus one of the best knife fighters in the entire game. Just like objectively speaking, this guy, he's trying to get around me, getting around me. I'm hitting very high speeds, almost hit 400 there, and I'm getting nose on him to be able to get these shots. As soon as I lose nose, I know I can't turn fight this guy, so I'm directing all my direction forward. I'm looking for my TVI indicator. This is my velocity indicator, so I know my ship is going on over there. And then I get it to max. I'm at almost 500. I flip. I don't hold any strafe inputs while I'm doing this. I know he's using tons and tons of boost. And I just think maybe I'll neutralize randomly in another direction, like maybe a down strafe right here. And he gets really, really close. And I'm like, maybe I'll neutralize again here. Maybe a little left strafe. Don't get anything. So eventually I'm like, I need to move my TVI indicator again. So I start moving my TV. I start holding W key. Get over here. I'm about to get boost here. So I know I'm about to have another sort of instance where I can potentially get him off my side. He's got my rear shield down here. So I flip again, trying to get him on my nose. He's taking out my side shield now. I'm decoupled. He's shooting my nose, my front shield, and my rear shield gets a little bit of regen there, which makes me a little harder to kill. So I'm able to be a little more aggressive here. See if I can do a little down strafe, try to one circle rotate him. I've talked about that in my Guardian videos, but I'm not able to. Keep on trying to turn fight. I'm waiting for this boost to come up. I'm just trying to present him my left shield here. You'll see my left shield, and then eventually it's just too much. It's such an endurance fight to fight this that it ends up eventually taking him out just from a random oddity of a mistake. But again, this is versus a very good player, and I was able to do that 3 times in a row in the same lobby. So again, maybe a novelty, but something you might be able to do with your MSR in the verse. So let's go on to maybe some fights with where I was using a gunner. Not this one. We already went through that one. Maybe this one. Oh, we went through that one. This one here. So this was a squadron battle engagement in which me and a really good gunner who flies with me a lot was playing. I was playing with him. And here we're at a huge point deficit. Match is almost over. Score is really high, so we're probably going to lose here. So I go into third person to double check which turret he is in, because sometimes gunners don't quite know which gun seat they're in during a particular engagement. And this is our first squadron battle. We're just getting a feel for everything. And I see this guy, he's very low, and I'm going to use my speed to capitalize and try to finish him off. Something that maybe the Asgard can't do is get in the right position. And the thing I know is I don't need my nose on because I have a turret gunner. I just need this pip to be above this line. So I pitch up. That way this is always above this line. That way my turret gunner can actually hit him. You can see these guns shooting. They're getting hits on them. I can actually even see hit indicators on them up in the top left over here. And you can see my gunner shoots off one of its wings. And then here I'm trying to flare off missiles. This ship's going out of control, and I know that my turret gunner can finish him off if I can push him towards her, and you can see my turret gunner is able to finish off that encounter. So unfortunately, we ended up losing that one because we got in it too late, but we can check out another one battle here. So unfortunately, this one crashed desktop bugs. We kept on getting into squadron battle after squadron battle after squadron battle, and we would have people ram us or spawn certain ships that currently break the game if they blow up on certain people's machines. So this was quite an effort to try to end up getting, which was not the most entertaining, but in retrospect, it was really cool to see how the MSR can actually operate. So here you see I'm pushing towards one of our allies with the ship, and I have my turret gunner. I'm trying to rotate. We're trying to call out which target we want to actually engage in strategically. And you can see I'm trying to flare off all these missiles. And me and my gunner, we're having a little bit of disagreement. Do we want to go after this Interceptor or do we want to go after this Guardian? And we end up agreeing that we want to take on this Guardian for now. So I push towards him. I see my front shield's getting a little low. So I end up deciding to push through this area to get cover. And you might be like, dude, I'd never use cover at SC. But because I had this, I can guarantee now that my rear shield that now is down and my other ones have regen, I can guarantee that their fire will come in from the front direction and that they can't easily strafe around me. It takes extra time for them to get around. So here I'm telling my gunner now to focus this interceptor. He's still on that guardian for a little bit, but this is just, again, you get teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. The more you interact and play with the same gunner, like your Han Solo and Chewbacca couple, you'll eventually get through those and start engaging on the same targets. So this target I choose because I know that he's the weaker target. If we shoot him and we do a critical amount of damage, we can get him out of this lobby. But unfortunately, I end up crashing. So we'll keep on going here, and eventually it looks like we get back into the lobby, and I have my gunner with me. So again, I see an ally over here, so I have a target ally bound, and a lot of times my goal is to merge on the ally because I know where my ally is where my opponent's trying to be. So that's a lot of times a quicker line to get to my opponent than it is to just go after them directly. So we get good damage on him. At this point, he's probably going to try nav mode. I should be going to missile operator mode here. But again, I'm actually pushing into my opponent here. I'm using right strafe and up strafe to where his pip is to allow my gunner to aim on him, even though it hurts my ability to get nose on him. And my opponent's able to, my gunner is able to actually end up killing him, which is great. So here again, we go towards this target. I see that ally over there in the far distance needs significant help. Unfortunately, they end up getting taken out. So we try to get some shots on this guy while we pass him and everything. We're now pushing towards that ally. And you can see I'm getting shots on him. My gunner's also shooting another target who's targeting us at the same time. So we're attracting a lot of attention to ourselves to try to peel for our allies. And here you can see this arrow here. He's taking fire from my gunner that entire time, so he's already red nose. My gunner's still able to shoot at him at this angle as long as I keep him up above there. And our ally we're able to peel for actually ends up killing him. So now we have this Hornet who's running distortions, trying to kill us, and he gets our front shield down, but I just give my gunner access to shoot him, and I end up pushing forward. That way he can't shoot our front and we can regen. But unfortunately, Squadron Battle is very fun and ends up freezing, and I think... Oh, it's back. It doesn't crash yet. So, but we freeze and we get a good amount of shots on him, and we get that opponent red. So here you can see he's still trying to push us. We're getting enough shield regen to avoid hull damage. Interesting thing about shield regen is it shield gates. So if you have at least one shield, even if you were to take 1,000 damage, this one shield will block that 1,000 damage if it's a single shot. Every shot after that will then go to the hull, but there's this damage gating that occurs. So here again, you can see that I'm keeping this pip up above the horizon, constantly just shooting them. Just again, it's really important to just see how these things, it's the same principle over and over and over again. You can notice I put my flare count up to 4. Very important to have your flare count up because these large ships, you need lots of flares in order to take missiles off your ship. And you know someone's likely hitting shield holes or something. He's gotten red nose at some point. I didn't quite notice that. And here I'm trying to get my gunner sights on this target over here because he looks like he's engaging that ally. I'm pushing up strafe, I'm pushing forward strafe. I'm taking a lot of damage here on my rear and on my back. And I have probably 4 opponents. I have 1, 2, 3 opponents. I have almost their whole team attacking me at this point. So I'm trying to get out of here, move away. I'm trying to present them my right shield. Give my opponent some shots. I try to nav mode here. This is actually a bad decision and it is something to learn from. I know they have distortions, so if they have distortions, that means they can disrupt my navigation mode. Unfortunately, I did see a few wrenches around here, but they disappeared a few times as I tried to push into them, so my gunner was able to actually spot some of them, so if I would have coordinated better with them, I likely could have gotten one of those wrenches and then repaired myself and then drawn a lot more attention for a longer period of time. So for power management, again, you want full power to engines, you want full power to weapons, you want full power to shields, and you have enough power pips to keep on having enough power to erase your things. I go into third person to double check where my turret is. There's this bug where if you get EMP'd ever, you'll just be EMP'd like the entire time for the next 10 minutes, which is quite annoying, but it also is what causes a lot of crashes in the game right now. But again, right here, I try to keep him right above pitch up. I start right strafing, I start up strafing to try to keep my ally towards him as close as possible and make it so he can't extend. So my opponent keeps ally keeps guns on him. He's trying to use flares and stuff. I try to track him through the chaff, and he just clips my wing right there. Doesn't do anything to me at all. It just makes me lose a wing, so it's just a free kill at that point. So we'll keep on skipping through. We eventually rejoined the lobby, which is fortunate, and we'll fast forward, see if we can find something interesting in there. And fortunately, there's not. We got crashed the lobby, and not much else came from that. Oh yeah, this is a fun engagement here. So I see this target over here. Me and my gunner, we both like, okay, yeah, these guys look like a decent target. I think this map looks cool because we're going through the Kessel Run, or we're in the asteroid belt as the Millennium Falcon. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe we can kind of fly around some of these station things to get these interesting positions where I can keep someone in front of me in that 50-degree cone, and they can't get out of it because of all the barriers and stuff. So I can take a missile. I forgot to up my flare count and deploy it fast enough. So in here, we're getting shots on this person. I forget that there's this thing behind us, but because we have so much mass, we actually take less damage. And this opponent, I accidentally press F4. I'm stuck. I don't know what I'm doing. But that guy pretty much ends up running into something and getting shot by another guy. He ends up dying. So a really cool thing is the MSR actually can compete very well in areas that have a ton of debris because it has so much mass that actually can shrug off some debris damage. When light fighters like the TIE fighters, they get hit by one tiny asteroid and they're just dead. So something really interesting that if you're in the PU and you have asteroids around you, try to use them. It might actually protect you even in battles like this versus people who are trying to fly these highly tuned light fighters. So let me see if I can fast forward here, see if I find some more action. Again, you can see we're using our Gs to be able to push on these people who are attacking our allies. We're trying to peel them off. I'm trying to push up so my opponent, my gunner, can keep on shooting them. You can see this points to the same direction that this points. So whenever I'm moving, I can actually see where my gunner is shooting, and I want it to sort of line up with wherever the enemy's pip is, so I can actually end up competing against them. We'll keep on going through here. I think we have some more crashes, but you can see that we're able to try to use our speed to help support these individuals. The Starlancer is an interesting opponent because Starlancer does have so much shields and stuff. I just want to make sure that this guy gets out of here alive, put a little pressure on him, maybe distract him from that target. But I only have 4 size 3s. That's less size 3s than the Asgard has. It's just pilot controlled. So I don't commit to it too hard and end up turning this to other target here. Who's the Hornet, who I know we can be effective on. So here I have 2 people attacking me. 2 people attacking me. I'm spamming the counter target button, and I want to put them on both sides, same side of me. So I decouple and I turn here, like I'm flying the Millennium Falcon through asteroid belt, and am able to cause these people to disengage off of us, at least one of them. So now we're able to turn it into a 1v1 here, and I'm able to put this again. I see the pip here. I see the pip here. And I'm able to push towards to make sure that this opponent's feeling the pressure and not able to escape rapidly, so that my gunner can keep on doing damage. Unlike that, like the Asgard with the MSR, you really have to trust your gunner is going to be able to take position on people. The difference is the MSR, you can push very aggressively into people, while the Asgard, you're constantly trying to get away from people. It's a very, very different mindset. But again, it's a little bit more like a Interceptor versus trying to play an extension-driven fighter in a sort of way. So we fight this guy. Eventually he nav modes, he gets away, and we get rammed into someone at the speed of light using nav mode, which is unfortunate, but it's actually kind of interesting because it gives us points, gets us free RAC, so I'm all right with it, assuming the game doesn't crash. But unfortunately, I think someone got really upset with fighting us because I think they spawn camp us, and I think they nav mode ram us again. I think it crashes us to desktop. So I'm checking to make sure my gunner is actually in the top gunner seat again here, and yeah, we get crashed into again. So cool thing is we're actually in the lead after that. So somehow we're getting more points than they are. So at the end of the day, that guy's doing that, and the recent points will win. So I think he's coming in here again to crash us. So anyways, yeah, big issue right now is probably this nav mode crashing thing, but I think it'll be something CIG sometimes does fixes. And there's no easy ways to counter us. I can just strafe away, or I can use nav mode to simply nav mode and get away from him. But unfortunately, I think I do end up crashing the desktop or freezing, or the lobby ends up swapping over this. So, but yeah, you can see more same stuff. You're pretty able to take out light fighters and stuff with this, with the combination of your gunner pilot. I mean, this is probably one of the funniest crashing screens of all time. The guy crashed into us at the very end. We somehow win, and we're just spinning at 5,000. Yeah, we crashed because we end up getting on the same team as him again. So, anyways, yeah, if you see this guy in your lobby, be very careful. It crashes you to lobbies if he crashes into you for whatever reason. So, going into the next video here, I was curious in how we might be able to do this versus very, very skilled pilots in a MSR. So let me see here. I think I had one. Yep, here we go. MSR double Gladius. This isn't really a double Gladius fight, but this is a fight where we fought one person, and another person rammed into us, which should have given the other person a very high advantage in their fight. So this is one person who was he was awesome. He was able to he engaged in a fight with us, and again, you can always just run away from the MSR. In nav mode, but the thing is you can't just straight up run away because it has such high boost and forward speed. So we're able to blow through here on him. Me and my gunner, we're still warming up, so I'm like, yeah, let's go and get our shields back. If he's not the wisest, he'll try to push us and give my gunner a great position. Realistically, I could have been a lot more aggressive. This opponent pushes away for whatever reason. I think they end up going AFK or something. Maybe they didn't want to fight the MSR, but again, it's that hard of a fight, or it's that unfun of a fight that would take forever that a lot of people may not want to take it. So we keep on going here and stuff. We end up getting into another fight with this individual over here. He's target locked us. I can see this radar lock down here. He flares us, so it's on duel. My gunner's aiming at him. Maybe it's a little cheesy for him to free aim, but hey, it's an MSR, so what could you expect? So we're shooting this guy. I'm trying to. I should be trying to keep this above this line as much as I can, if possible, the entire time. And as long as this stays up above this line, my gunner can shoot this guy the entire time. So here I start rolling. I'm keeping this pip up above up above my dashboard. Here it pushes over. I up strafe, left strafe, try to extend away from him, and here I'm able to get him likely because he ran out of boost. And you can see he wasn't able to even get through shields there. So we keep fighting. We actually have an opponent. For whatever reason, I think we have a guy. We flirted the same guy, same opponent. He's a really, really good PvPer. We're going around. We go at fast speeds, and then this guy over here, another guy, ribs into us, and we get a kill. Unfortunately, that makes our whole red, so we're very disadvantaged in this fight. So I'm trying to move to the left and roll to keep it up above here. If I notice this pip is moving too fast, I know that this opponent's really close. So to slow down how fast this is rotating, I'm trying to create space. In my pilot here, he's shooting at him. I'm trying to keep him up above that line of scrimmage. Here I'm down strafing, I'm right strafing. I need to roll, get him up above that line of scrimmage. And here I can try to really lay into the fight. Here I need to start pushing because he's getting too far away. Move towards him, keep the line up above there. I'm keeping notes on that red shield there, so I push past him, get a little bit of regen. And if he really wants that top shield, it means he'll have to push into me. And I think he does. So oh no, he doesn't. He plays in a way that he could regen shields if he wanted. And again, it's important. He could just extend to that point and probably get his shields back, but I can push with it and eventually catch up to him if he doesn't go into nav mode, because you have such high top speeds on this ship. So here, rotating. There's this desync going on where my opponent, you can actually see he's hitting him up there, but on my screen, there's a gunner desync. I think that happens in Arena Commander, where the gunner is shooting somewhere else on the screen. So I'm asking my gunner if he's actually hitting me. He's like, yeah, okay, I am hitting him. So here, push in. I have high shields here, so I try to actually push into him. I'm using a little bit more right strafe here to push into his direction, to keep my gunner on him, and we're able to kill him nose to nose there right near the very end. So another question was like, how does this thing perform versus large ships? How does it perform versus a Constellation. In my mind, I think a Constellation would just destroy the MSR. Now, the MSR can run away, right? It doesn't have to take the fight. But there's something to be said if a MSR, even with an extra person, if it can kill a Constellation if it chooses to take the fight. Which is very interesting, because I would think the MSR with 4 size 5 weapons, in the MSR only having 4 size 3 weapons, even if it's 4 size 3s and you have a turret gunner who can shoot all directions, it's 4 size 3s versus 4 size 5s. I would think that there'd be a huge disadvantage versus the MSR. And even if the MSR played in a very fight-or-flighty way to regen its shields, I wouldn't expect it to be able to beat the Constellation. I would expect it to be able to maybe make a stalemate, but a stalemate that if it makes mistakes, it will slowly start losing over time as it randomly starts just taking hull damage. And I would expect it not to have enough damage to ever be able to get through a shield face of the Constellation to deal enough damage to do meaningful, significant hull damage. So here I'm going through my gunner. I'm showing him where the turret seat is on the MSR. And eventually we end up getting to the point where this pilot, he's the guy who we were actually fighting in those last clips a whole bunch. Again, awesome guy, allowing us to get fights in the MSR. Not many people do that in free flight. And he wants to fight us with this Constellation of all things. And you can notice that shield, that front shield goes down very, very quickly. I'm in a very dangerous position. So I push away. You can see my velocity. It's very high, and I try to get that front shield regened. This is the first time I've ever fought a Constellation seriously in an MSR, so I'm taking it slow, trying to figure out what I can and can't do against it, which you have the ability to do because you have the speed. If I didn't have the ability and the speed, I would just have to commit to this fight, like with an Asgard. This is a fight I don't think the Asgard can win, by the way. If I was fighting an Asgard, there's a possibility I can reverse corkscrew with the VTOL strafes. But the problem is if I reverse corkscrew with the VTOL strafes and I do a barrel roll, my reverse back strafe is going to be very, very, very slow. So the Constellation can likely push into me at a close enough range to do damage, and it has so much more firepower, has so much more shields, it's so much tankier. I don't think people realize how tanky the Constellation is. So I think the guy probably disconnects, maybe crashes here. There's that crash bug going around, but we just kind of want to see how long does it actually take to take out Constellation. But imagine this: you have the Corsair. The Corsair has it has like almost 100,000 HP, but the vital HP that actually causes it to blow up is really just this section right here. That section right there is equal to 17,000. The Constellation, it only has 20,000, right? So 20,000, only 20,000. But that 20,000 is actually multiplied by 4 because the Constellation has the nose, it has the bridge, it has the body, and it has the aft section. So the aft section there actually has 20k per section. So it's 80,000 vital HP. That's nearly 4 Constellations. Sorry, not 4 Constellations. That's nearly 4 Corsairs. Similarly, the MSR has a similar HP profile. So when we have 20,000 for each of those body sections, the nose section, the aft section, if we want to kill it in a timely fashion, we have to focus all of our firepower into only a single section. So to kill a Constellation takes a lot of effort. So again, just to reiterate, I am not expecting that we'd be able to win this battle at all. And eventually the guy, he comes back. I think I alt-tabbed. I was doing some SP viewer calculation shenanigans, and he comes back. He flares us. This is a legitimate fight. My gunner's already aiming on him, trying to get some shots in here early. And something I noticed that I didn't notice before, maybe he changed it between the two fights, is these bullets are slower. They have a lower rate of fire, and they're doing a lot more damage. That shield instantly goes down. He is likely using attrition repeaters, which do an insane amount of damage, 2 to 3 times more damage than regular Galdarines, and I'm a very large target. I am way larger than a Gladius, so he can actually hit those things at me, even at range, if he does them in the right spreads. If I see them, I can sort of matrix them and try to use my thrusters to avoid them as they come in. As long as I have about 0.5 seconds between them being fired and me seeing them, I can try to evade these shots. So you can see me trying to corkscrew around these. using a little bit of strafes to fire at him. But eventually he starts catching on to that, and he'll start counter pushing us. So I can see we're corkscrewing, we're reverse corkscrewing. You can tell we're reverse corkscrewing because this is negative right here. And eventually I see this shield go down on the right side. So I rotate in a way that I need to go through this. Now, what I may not tell you is this is a 13-minute fight. I'm going to analyze all of it because I don't know anyone else who will. I know a lot of people have put clips on there about the MSR and how it works, but if I put a clip there on the MSR, people will say that, oh, maybe there wasn't enough context. And they'd be right. Maybe there isn't enough context. So we're going to go through this whole thing, and hopefully other people who maybe do this in the MSR can help use this as a sort of idea, as a platform to at least a starting stone to try to explore more things about the ship and how it can maybe work. So you can see here, we're able to get a lot of nose damage, and we're able to get a lot of rear damage pushed into the Constellation. He may be diverting power from his rear shields into his other shields, which might be the reason why. I'm not necessarily doing that. I didn't really think about it at the time, but the other reason is I'm actually kind of using all my shield faces. Once he gets one shield face down, I'm pushing away from the opponent. I'm making space. I actually forgot this was a thing up here. I should have been reading this, but I'm actually constantly yelling at my gunner to give me what range is when I don't have eyes on him, so I know that I'm not turning in a way that's going to get us completely destroyed by his guns. Because this is 4 size 5s, and when I don't have nose, we only have 2 size 3s. So we're actually able to get both of his shields down here, so we're looking pretty good, but I think I get a little overzealous here at one point, and I almost throw it for us. So again, coming through here, I'm matrixing these bullets. I'm doing a little corkscrew. I see them coming in, trying to dodge as many as I can. I take some shots on the right, so I put them on the left side as soon as that right side starts going down. And I'm basically this disc, and my gunner, he can basically shoot anywhere I want on this clock. So I don't need to have my nose facing this opponent. I just need my little tiny disc to be able to aim at him like he is right now and continue firing at him. His max range is around 2.2 kilometers. And a scary thing in this battle is, even though he has slower projectile speeds, my opponent has slower projectile speeds, his projectiles, I believe, actually have larger effective distance. So when I lose eyes on his projectiles, he can shoot them in a large spread to make a wall of bullets that can pretty much clothesline me over here that I can't necessarily dodge as they come in at a cone, and just a couple of them will actually hit me, which cause my shields not be able to regen. And that's because his projectiles, I believe, actually have larger effective range than mine do. So at times he can actually regen shields when we can't, if we push too far along that range. So distance control is actually very, 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 very important in this fight. We have to either get close enough that we can outrate him, or we have to get far enough that we can dodge his bullets and have enough time to evade them. The problem is this ship doesn't have quite the strafes to actually like knife fight a Constellation, right? So if we are going to do something like that, we have to knife fight. And I try to get close, and the problem is I'm not doing it quite properly. I'm using too much strafes. I'm not focusing on using the 4 Gs of this, and every single one of our shields come down, and we instantly get red-nosed in less than maybe 1 or 2 seconds as soon as those shields drop. So you have to play this almost perfectly if you really want to take this out. But the nice thing is we have time to figure out how to do it perfect. It's like if you're gambling like Lando or you're gambling like Han Solo, you can just keep on rerolling the dice. If you find a way to sort of cheaply in a scam, just keep on rerolling the dice until you're in their favor. If you're flying the MSR, thematically, that should probably be how you're flying it. So we're flying away, we're getting every single one of our shields up. And this also means that our opponent is getting all their shields up. We're playing it safe, but we're playing the long game, and we're already gambling by playing against a Constellation in the first place, and actually taking the fight to start. So here, I'm trying different techniques. I'm like, oh, can I just float here at low SEMs and matrix his bullets while my opponent shoots them? And I can, but he starts pushing forward. You can notice this number's increasing, even though my number's staying about the same. And he pushes past us, and I push against him. But here I'm a little bit too anxious, and I push all the way to 3 kilometers. So we both of us get our shield regens back. So I do this over and over again. I'm trying to figure out what's that range. I've never flown the ship before. What's that range where I can beat him, but he can't beat me? And it's not over 3 kilometers. It's within 2 kilometers somewhere. So he comes in again. We're getting good shots on him, but we're getting in a scary range where we almost died last time, which is around that. I almost think it's probably 900 meters. I was thinking 600 meters, but it's almost around 900 meters. I'm able to roll to make sure that each of the shots don't just hit on one region to kill us, and I push back out. And again, I'm a little overzealous with this, being really safe, making sure all of our shields get regen, but you can see that he's able to get shots that actually hit all of us even at that range because I'm not being evasive enough. So I'm being even more careful here. I'm guessing I'll do a forward push in one of these directions that's not quite towards him. I'm guessing probably that direction over there. Or I just float. I float out and I get all my shields back to just reset the battle again. So again, I'm treating this kind of like deep sea fishing, where it's like, okay, we're about to lose it. Line's about to snap. We're about to be done for the day, and I don't want to do this again. So I go him all the way back out. I let him get all the way out there, and we completely reset the fight. In here, we're pushing in again. I'm getting shots in. My ally's getting shots in. He can go a little bit below the line of skirmish, which is great. And I almost die there. You can see I have a little tiny bit of shield there. Just a little tiny bit left. So I push as fast as I can, knowing that whatever I did there did not work at all. Then in the PU, if it doesn't work, get out of dodge, try again. Because that is something that MSR can do that the Asgard cannot. It is something the Corsair cannot. It is something the Constellation cannot. The 400i kind of can, but it doesn't have the acceleration. It has really good top speed. But so here, again, we take shields damage on that side. I'm pushing it a little bit more aggressively here. So instead of 3k, I get it around that 2.2k range, yelling at my ally for what is we need to do. And here I try a different tactic. I'm thinking, what if we just hold pedal to the metal, just hold the W key while circling around the opponent? What if I can just go fast enough that his bullets can't hit me while I orbit him at a 500 meter range? No one would ever say, hey, you can orbit a guy at a 600 meter range. But other people don't have a gunner who can shoot 90 degrees off y'all while also moving 10 Gs in the forward direction. So I think to myself, maybe there's a chance. Maybe I can just hold the W key and start orbiting this guy while not getting shots. So I start doing this and I realize we're not getting hit. This hits. This isn't getting hit. This isn't getting hit. We're orbiting this guy. I don't have free look to be able to see it, but I can sense his shots aren't landing. And there's actually these windows where I get to that 900 meter range and I'm like, I need to blow through. I need to blow through him. So I cut towards the other side. Front shield gets hit. The right shield's almost about to go down. So what I do is I should flip here, right? Or I get out of dodge. It looks like I get out of dodge here. And I start getting a little bit of shield regen while my ally keeps on getting shots off on him. And I'm thinking to myself, what just happened? That I could have probably flipped there to make it so my other shield would take the damage. But there is a problem with that. You may not know this, but your gunners can actually get blacked out if you pull insane maneuvers that may have not blacked you out as the pilot. Just due to the way that G-Force works in the game. So here we have his shields down and I'm like, we need to sustain on him. My right shield's going down a little bit here. So I go here, I flip to the side, and now I have the left shield taking damage. My right shield's about to go down, so now I push forward away from the opponent. That way my rear shield's taking damage. So my entire fight, I'm almost looking at two things. I'm looking at my shields here, and I'm looking at the enemy's position to me and where he is in position. So here I'm trying to keep this up here below 3k, so my ally can keep pinging him, make sure the shields don't go back up, putting us back down to square one. I see my right shield is going down here, so I push off to the right here. Now that I'm pushing off to the right side, his shields can only hit my left side, so I'm able to rotate around him in this direction, and I hold pedal to the metal to the 4 Gs as much as I can. You can see these Gs are hitting oftentimes almost 10, and I'm trying to push through this little last area, and I notice the shield's about to go down, but I really want to hold this slot, so I flip. Now the bullets can only hit my right side, and this is a complete revolution of what we were trying to do against this opponent. Now I realize that I can extend this fight. I'm pushing here. As long as I can keep this shield over here rotating, keep my left shield rotating, I can keep on fighting on this orbit. Unfortunately, he gets a couple shots here on the left side, and he gets the front down, and we almost die there. But I push through, and now he can only shoot a rear shield face. And I make sure I fly really flat, make sure I'm not going up, make sure I'm not going down, so some of the bullets don't happen to get over or under our shield face to hit our nose. I'm keeping our orbit very, very flat. You can see that this TVI is very flat to our line of scrimmage. So here we turn, and we're going to try to do the same thing again as my opponent, as my ally was keep on able to get shots on our opponent that entire time. Again, front shield gets down, left shield gets down. I flip, I put the opponent on the right side of my ship, so he's attacking the right side of my ship. And now that left shield, it can regen. And now my gunner, he can keep on shooting him because we're still under that sub 2 kilometer range, so he can keep on pinging those shields. I can roll back to this side because this shield is back up. And we can just sort of orbit at this range right here while the opponent is trying to push us because he sees our shields regenning, and he doesn't like that. He doesn't want us to get our shields back, so he pushes aggressively. Gets that left shield down, I put him back on my right side, and I'm like, we have it. We just got to keep on rotating this and not make a mistake. We got to lock in, put him on the right side, keep on firing, keep on firing. We're hunting the big whale, and we get our shield back up again because we're doing this orbit. Our right shield is taking damage, so we put him on our left. That way our left shield is the one that's taking damage. We're pushing W, we're pulling high Gs as much as we can. You see that oftentimes hitting 10. Our left shield is taking damage, our front shield is taking damage. Since our front shield is taking damage, we blow through through as hard as we can, and we present our right shield to him because he's over to our right, and we present our left shield to him. That way our other two can regen. This one's regenning, and this one's regenning. And now we put him back on our front side, and we just repeat. We make sure we don't get over 3 kilometers. Make sure we're staying in that 2 kilometer window. That way we can keep on getting shots. And after 13 minutes of gameplay, we're able to defeat a constellation. So the MSR is a beast now. In 4.21, it has enough Gs to be able to fight off lots of ships it may have not been able to in the past. It's able to fight off fighters, it's able to fight off even large ships if you have a gunner, and more importantly to me, it gets a lot of value out of multi-crew gameplay. When I think about like a Hurricane, for instance, or a Constellation, I would rather have 2 Constellations than a Constellation with a multi-crew turret gunner in my fleet. A Scorpius, a lot of times, sometimes I rather have 2 Scorpiuses, and then maybe if a Scorpius is about to go down, have one of them eject, and then get another one like a Gundam that builds back together and gets more powerful. Or for the Hurricane, I rather maybe have 2 Guardians who are really skilled pilots. Now, there's something to say that like sometimes you may not have a really skilled pilot, but you have a really skilled gunner, in which it makes sense to then take a Hurricane or a Scorpius. But a lot of times you have 2 skilled pilots, and it would be cool to have a ship that actually truly gets more value out of being a 2-man ship in the current patch than it would be having 2 of the same ship. And a ship I think actually does that is the MSR. Because the MSR gets this turret that can shoot in a 360 degree angle that provides a whole bunch of utility to be able to really push onto opponents without keeping your nose on. Because as a sort of interceptor tuned gunship, it has such terrible turn rate. It has terrible strafe, so it can get into the fights, but it really can't get nose on the fights for a long period of time if the opponent doesn't want them. But with a gunner, it can, and it can provide that pressure that a lot of other ones can't. And on top of that, it feels like the Millennium Falcon. So this is just something that I thought was really, really cool. I saw that there was a lot of interest in transports and maybe ships that aren't traditionally thought of being as combat ships, and looking at ways how they might be able to more readily defend themselves in the PU. So I wanted to present some of these sort of tips, tricks I had with using the MSR. And if you liked hearing stuff about that, if there's something you want to see more of in the future, if you have questions, ask me. You can DM me on Discord or ask me in the comments below. But I appreciate you going through this video and your guys' feedback in the previous ones. Hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching. Post-credit tip, me and my gunner thought of this awesome idea that if you're running this ship, like the Millennium Falcon with just that 1+1 co-pilot / gunner, you have an extra turret that you're never going to rarely use, and you can use that as a counter pick turret. So if you're fighting, anticipating you might be fighting larger sort of ships like that Constellation, we could have made that much easier by running an Ardor Salvaged Repeater, which has a lot more weapon and firepower than the Panther Repeater. I think this would actually show an even greater DPS difference if it was showing the AC numbers where you only have 75 ammo in your capacitor. Additionally, let's say you're fighting an Idris, you could go ahead and change this to like a sledge mass driver, and with the auto gimbal, you could just start one tapping all those PDCs, maybe two tapping. I'm not sure what the HP is nowadays. That we can open it up to be able to be attacked by more fighters or maybe torpedoes or whatever it is you're trying to do to it. Take that, and hopefully that'll make your MSR game even stronger.